A new report finds more than $1.5 billion in tax dollars, that's billion with a B, goes to abortion providers. The report, released by the nonpartisan Government Accountability Office, reveals the taxpayer funding levels of 3 abortion providers: Planned Parenthood Federation of America, Marie Stopes International, and International Planned Parenthood Federation. The study, led by Representatives Black, Olson, and Senator Ernst, was requested by more than 120 members of the House and Senate in 2016 and was finally released last week. This report is the first to break down funding amounts by Planned Parenthood affiliates and reveals more than 1/3 of total funding went to 4 affiliates that have since been referred to the Justice Department for investigation for their role in the harvest and sale of aborted baby body parts. Representative Chris Smith of New Jersey is co-chair of the Bipartisan Congressional Pro-Life Caucus. Congressman, you are one of the 120 members of the House and Senate who requested this information 2 years ago from the U.S. Government Accountability Office. How do these findings compare to what you were expecting?
Well, in my opinion, it's devastating that Planned Parenthood, Child Abuse Incorporated, that is directly responsible for 7 million unborn children's deaths, that they're getting $1.5 billion, Planned Parenthood Federation of America, from the U.S. taxpayers over the last 3 years alone. And at the end of the day, we're talking about an organization that is completely antithetical to life and to the majority public opinion in the United States. Over 60% of Americans do not want taxpayer dollars going for abortion.
Congressman, you're also on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and do extensive work globally.
Yes.
What can you tell us about groups like Marie Stopes International and International Planned Parenthood Federation? What should our viewers know about the work they do?
Hundreds of millions of dollars that flow to these organizations, over $100 million to Marie Stopes International, who see it as their mission to dismantle and to destroy not just unborn children, but the laws that protect them. Many countries in the world, particularly in Central and South America, in Ireland, which is under siege right now to reverse their pro-life laws, it is the organizations like Marie Stopes, like Planned Parenthood, like Amnesty International, that are in the vanguard of trying to strip away those very necessary protections for mother and children.
We see from this report more than 1/3 of total funding went to 4 Planned Parenthood affiliates that have since been referred to the Justice Department for investigation concerning their role in the harvest and sale of aborted baby body parts. How significant is that, in your opinion?
Anybody who's watched those tapes had to have been outraged to see Planned Parenthood doctors and top officials nonchalantly talking about procuring these organs from unborn babies, girls and boys. It is outrageous, and yet those affiliates, as you pointed out, 4 out of 5 of some of the biggest recipients of U.S. taxpayer funds are right now criminally referred by the House Committee, Select Committee, to the Justice Department. And I hope the Justice Department moves quickly to bring indictments.
Finally, Congressman, your fellow co-chair of the Bipartisan Congressional Pro-Life Caucus is Illinois Democrat Dan Lipinski. The abortion lobby, as you probably know, is heavily targeting Lipinski ahead of his primary. Is there any room for the pro-life cause to be a bipartisan issue anymore?
It's a great question. When I got elected in 1980, we had over 80 pro-life Democrats, and systematically, especially through primaries and candidate selection, the Democrat Party has become increasingly the party of abortion. And I think many Americans have to realize, whether it be Democrat, Republican, or independent, that respect for life is the paramount human rights issue of our time. If you look at the platforms side by side, the Democrat Party wants to get rid of the Hyde Amendment. Hyde Amendment precludes funding for Medicaid payments for abortions. That will be disastrous. The taxpayers, the Marist poll found that approximately 60% of Americans do not want their money being used to pay for abortion. And yet, we know Planned Parenthood, and of course, if they have their way, we have not been able to stop that funding, unfortunately. We have a conflicted Senate. We need 60 votes to get legislation passed. And even though the House has passed an appropriations bill that defunds Planned Parenthood, and it's in flux right now, the Senate will most likely object, and we will not see the defunding of Planned Parenthood. Let's not forget, 7 million dead babies killed in Planned Parenthood clinics.
Action needs to be taken. Congressman
Can I also add, if I could?
Please.
You know, one of the things that, you know, I would hope that Democrat pro-lifers would run for office and bring back that balance in the Democratic Party that used to exist. Some of our greatest leaders, Jim Oberstar of Minnesota, and I could go through a long list, Congressman Lipinski, who just believe in the sanctity of life that should not be, you know, a disqualification for being in good standing with the Democrat Party. As I said before, and I say this with great sadness, the Democrat Party has become the party of abortion.
It should be a bipartisan cause. Congressman Chris Smith of New Jersey, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We're going to continue this conversation with our next guest, our trusted pro-life expert. Marjorie Dannenfelser is president of the Susan B. Anthony List. Marjorie, a lot to discuss.
Hello, Catherine. I know.
I think Americans are going to be shocked to learn that more than $1.5 billion of their tax dollars went to the abortion industry. What did you make of this GAO report?
Well, this report revealed some things that we do know, that over $1 million a day, 1.2 or $3 million a day goes to fund Planned Parenthood. Okay, we know that,
right,
but let's just let that sink in. 1.2 or $3 million a day goes to fund this abortion enterprise. So we knew that part. That is disturbing. But the other piece of it is that the bulk of that money goes to particular bad actors in California that have been particularly pointed out and are under investigation for part of the scandal of the baby body parts, you know, commodification of those babies. So they get the bulk of the money. They're doing bad things with that money, and we're a part of it.
And that alone, the fact that so much money is going to clinics that are literally being investigated by the Justice Department, doesn't that just further the call and renew the push to defund Planned Parenthood? And if so, where are we on that battle?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing we cannot lose is a sense of outrage. This has been happening year after year after year. The fresh horror of the idea that we are investing in these horrific organizations, especially ones that are under investigation by the Justice Department. It does amp up the fight to defund them and send that money to other, you know, more comprehensive and more accessible organizations. Where we are is that every time the Trump administration has found an opportunity to cut the head off that snake, it has. Every point in the Title X program, in the Medicaid program, there are a lot of administrative actions that can be taken and are being taken. There's a lot of details to it, but what really matters also in the end is that it be stripped out of the budget. And right now, we are not in a place to do it because we simply don't have enough senators to vote the right way on that.
All the more reason elections are important. And speaking of elections, turning to an important race I know you have your eyes on, Illinois Democrat Dan Lipinski is up for re-election, facing a pro-abortion opponent in his Democratic primary. Why is this race so important?
It is a big deal. It is one of these big cultural shifts, one way or the other. I think no matter how you look at this race for Dan Lipinski, who was the one holdout, the one guy that did not sell out his soul and vote for Obamacare, even though it failed to protect taxpayers from funding abortion. He's the one holdout among all those guys. He deserves to be saved. He is a hero for life. He's standing up to the entire apparatus of the Democratic Party. Win or lose, this will be a situation where the far left of the Democratic Party has tried to completely filter out every single pro-life or even leaning pro-life member of the Democratic Party who is in office. So we have to win this, but if we either way, it has really revealed the heart of where the party unfortunately is right now and where it cannot continue. It cannot survive in this way. Lipinski has to win. He deserves to win. He's a hero, and we as a movement are behind him.
Let's see what happens with this race. Marjorie Dannenfelser of the Susan B. Anthony List, thank you.
Thank you.